Now, before we get started, I want to just reiterate to a lot of people that this is the main reason why it is that in place of police, we should really have citizens protecting and watching over the communities of which they grew up in, they love, and they know, right? Because when you have other people that take up the mantle or the job of protecting and serving, you could come out and receive somebody that would do the exact same negative actions that you are going to see here in the video I am going to provide for you. Again, at no point in time should things like this ever take place. And if and when they do take place, all the officers involved should receive penalties. Their pensions should go directly to those who are affected. They should be stripped of their service pistols and their badges and their rights to be an officer anywhere in America immediately. And they should just have to face those consequences. And their faces need to be put up so that everybody can understand who and what these people are and what things they have negatively done to negatively impact the community of which they are supposed to protect and serve.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! You know. I'm hit! I'm hit! What? I'm hit! In the car! I was shot through the car! Oh! I'm good. I feel weird, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't know. I might have hit my vest.
This is the story. Marquise Jackson recently shared publicly the story of what might have been the scariest day of his life. It all began at around 8:42 a.m. on November 12th of 2023 on McLaren Circle when the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office received a call of a vehicle driving around honking its horn, disrupting the peace at around 3 a.m. A woman then called the sheriff's office accusing Jackson, age 22, of taking a vehicle and sending threats via a text message and phone calls. According to the sheriff's office, Jackson arrived at the scene at around 9:09 a.m. He was detained, searched, handcuffed, and placed into the rear of Deputy Jesse Hernandez's patrol vehicle. The woman then completed an affidavit for a stolen vehicle. She told deputies Jackson had a silencer, but wasn't sure where it was and that he had more than one weapon. When Hernandez was returning with a victim's rights form for the woman, other deputies had communicated that they found her vehicle. Hernandez then approached the passenger side rear door of his patrol vehicle to do a secondary search of Jackson when he heard a pop sound, which he thought was a gunshot and believed he had been hit. Hernandez yelled shots fired multiple times and then fell to the ground, rolled multiple times, and then began firing into the patrol vehicle. Sergeant Beth Roberts then began firing into the vehicle in response to the perceived threat after she saw Hernandez's response, reaction, and fear for his own life and safety. Jackson escaped injury and no weapon was located. Witnesses stated that they heard what they thought could have been a muffled gunshot. 3 News, 5 reporters listened to the body cam footage and did not hear the sound that was described. Hernandez, who has been with OCSO since January of 2022, resigned on December 4th of 2023, according to the OCSO. Roberts has been with OCSO since May of 2008. Both were current on resistant training and firearms qualifications. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Professional Standards conducted an internal investigation and determined that Hernandez's use of force was not objectively reasonable. Hernandez violated policy regarding excessive use of control to resist. The investigation determined that Roberts' use of deadly force was objectively reasonable and she was exonerated. The OCSO Criminal Investigation Division reviewed the incident after initial investigation for any possible criminal charges. The sheriff's office also reportedly requested an independent review by the First Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office, and ultimately, no probable cause for criminal charges was found. So pretty much, we heard and witnessed complete nonsense. There was really no accountability for any of the officers involved. They did their own investigation into themselves. Of course, they're going to be like, okay, well, we're going to just shoot a 50-50. One officer is going to get reprimanded. One officer is going to take pretty much the fall and the blame for everything. And the other officer, we're just going to say that, they were in the moment. Adrenaline was pretty much rushing. They were looking at the situation, had a split second, and they decided to react the same way the first officer did. So we don't find them to actually be a problem in the situation. So they're exonerated, right? So that's where we are. We're still at the fact that police do not take accountability for any of their own actions when it details them specifically going out of their way to conduct themselves in this type of manner where they themselves can potentially take the lives of someone else because of their own stupidity. Again, we watched the video. We clearly heard that there was no type of sound of a gunshot. There was nothing of an explosion or a bottle pop, not even a rock hitting a car. There was nothing at all in that footage to make it seem as though that he was wounded. Remember, he said that he was shot. He was hurt. He rolled over several times. That was it. That was it. Shots fired. Shots fired. Pulled out his gun, and he replaced 2 magazines, if not 3, because there were supposedly shots fired, and the shots were specifically coming from the suspect that was in the back of the vehicle that was already unarmed because he didn't have a weapon on him, and he was already searched and he was already handcuffed. Somebody has to explain to me, how is it possible that with all of the things that they went through before the suspect got into the car, that we got to the point that the suspect is now under a hell of gunfire because of the idiots that are there in uniform? And people wonder why it is that there's not a lot of trust when it deals with the police, or why it is that people, feel a certain type of way about the police. This is why, because I want people to understand that this very exact same incidents that I showed you and that I read off to you, this could happen to anybody at any time. They could randomly just get set off and, oh my God, PTSD, right? But realistically, I don't even feel like it was even PTSD. I just listed that just because. Like I said before, the reaction, there was no type of information or anything that I can give you to give you a great reason as to why it is the reaction that we saw took place. And I fear for the other people that are in that area that is pretty much controlled, looked over by the police. And, the safety for the families and the children directly out there, because if this is how 2 cops acted and one was a sergeant, how do you think the rest of them are going to act? If they all receive the same type of training, how do you think that that training is going to benefit everybody else after what it is that we were able to witness and see specifically in this video?